Hi friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about for off loop and for in loop in JavaScript. Lot of students have a doubt about for off loop and for in loop when they are supposed to use for in loop and for off loop. All these questions I will clear in this video. So I sincerely request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. First, let me discuss about the for off loop. For off loop in JavaScript allows you to iterate over iterable objects like arrays, sets, maps, strings, etc. So whenever you want to iterate over the arrays, sets, maps, etc., then we will use the for off loop. First, let me create an array and then we will discuss how can we use the for loop to iterate over the array elements, and then we will discuss how can we simplify the process using the for off loop. If I want to use the for loop, first I need to create an array. So I am creating an array called A with the elements 1, 67, 89, 45. Then I need to define one variable I, and then I need to use the for keyword. In the for, I will have the initialization, so I is equal to 0, and I need to write the condition I should be less than a dot length. The length property will give you the number of elements in the array. In this array A, how many elements are there? 4. So a dot length will give the value as 4 for you. Then I plus plus, and then inside the for loop I can write console.log, and then I write a and the index I. Now if you look at I value is initially 0. So you will verify the condition. What is the condition? I should be less than a dot length. A dot length will give the value as 4. So I should be less than 4. What is the I value? 0. So 0 is less than 4. So the for loop condition will be true. So the statements which are there in the for loop will be executed. So you will get the value which is there in the array A at the index 0, because you are saying A is the array name and 0 you are providing as an index. In the 0th index, what element is there? 1. That will be displayed for you. Once you have executed all the statements which are there in the for loop, then the control will go to the iteration. You have written I plus plus. What is the I value? 0. So 0 plus plus means it will give the 1 for you. Then you will verify the condition. I should be again less than 4. 1 is less than 4. So again the for loop condition is true. The statements which are there in the for loop will be executed. Then console.log a of I. What is the I value? 1. So in the array A, at first index what element is there? 67. So you will get the output as 67. Then I value will become 2. 2 is less than 4. In the array A, at the second index what element is there? 89 will be displayed, and then I value will become 3. 3 is less than 4. In the array A, at the third index what element is there? Which is 45. So 45 will be displayed. Then I value will become 4. 4 is less than 4. No, the for loop condition will be false. If the condition is false, the statements which are there in the for loop will not be executed. So if I am using the for loop and want to iterate over the array elements, I need to write like this. But the same process can be simplified using the for off loop. If I want to display all the elements of the array using the for off loop, then I need to write the syntax as for is a keyword, and then I need to write the element of iterable object I need to provide, and then within the curly braces I want to write the body of the loop, and then I need to end with the curly braces. Now let me write the same concept using the for off loop. So using the for off loop, I want to display all the elements which are there in the array A. Then I will write for j in A, and then I will write within the curly braces console.log I will write j. Then all the elements in the array will be displayed. If you want to verify, let me write both these programs and execute in the Visual Studio. So first let me go to the Visual Studio, and then I will create an array A with the elements 1, 67, 45, 89. Then I can write where I, then I will write for I is equal to 0, I should be less than a dot length, then I am writing I plus plus, and all the elements in the array A I want to display. Then I can write console.log A of I. Now let me save this program and execute for you. Then I will get all the elements in the array A like 1, 67, 45, 89. The same task I want to do using the for off loop. Then I will write for some var, and the variable name I can give it as any name. J I have provided, and then I will use the off keyword, and then I will write the array name, and then I will write console.log, and then I will display the element which is there in the j. Now if you observe, the first element in the array A will be assigned to the variable j. So j will get the value 1. So if you are writing console.log j, value 1 will be displayed. Then j will get the next element which is there in the array A, which is 67. Then 67 will be displayed. The next element in the array A will be assigned to the variable j, which is 45. So 45 will be displayed. Then next element 89 will be assigned to the variable j, and then 89 will be displayed. Once all the elements in the array A has been completed, then it will end the for off loop. Now if I save this program and execute for you, see, we got all the elements in the array A. So like this we can use the for off loop, which is useful to iterate over iterable objects like arrays, sets, maps, strings, etc. Now let me write a for off loop to iterate over an iterable object like string. So to do that one, I will use the var keyword to define a variable called j, and then I will assign the value called Parnika tutorials. Now the variable j is having a string called Parnika tutorials. Then I will use the for off loop. So I will write for variable j of b, and then I will write the console.log whatever the value is there in the variable j I want to display. Now let me save this program and execute it for you. See, we got the output as P-A-R-N-I-K-A, then space T-U-T-O-R-I-A-L-S. So the entire string has been displayed character by character. So like this we can use the for off loop to iterate over the iterable object like string also. Now let me discuss how can we use the for off loop to iterate over the set. To iterate over the set, first I need to create a set. So I will write for j is equal to new set. Then I want to provide the elements which are there in the set. So I am providing 1, 2, 3. Then I will use the for off loop. For keyword I will use where I of j. Then I want to display all the elements which are there in the set j. So I can write console.log I. Now let me save this program and execute it for you. See, we got the output as 1, 2, 3. So like this we can use the for off loop in JavaScript, which allows you to iterate over the iterable objects like arrays, sets, map, string, etc. Now let me discuss about the for in loop. For in loop in JavaScript allows you to iterate over all the property keys of an object. Whenever you want to iterate over an object, then we will use the for in loop. Whereas for off loop, we will use whenever you want to iterate over the arrays, sets, maps, strings, etc. To make you understand about the for in loop, let me create an object which consists of certain keys and values. Then I will use the for in loop to display all the keys and values of the an object. So I will go to the Visual Studio, and then first I will create a object. So I will write const, the object name I will provide. Let me provide the object name as ob1, and this ob1 will have the certain keys and values. Let me provide the keys as yt. So yt is a shortcut I'm providing for the YouTube. Similarly, I'm providing another key value pair, like for the Instagram, I'm providing the shortcut as iz. So iz is the key and the value is Instagram. Separate with a comma, then I can provide the fb is the key and the value for that one is Facebook. And similarly, I will provide the key as pt and the value as Parnika tutorial. So I'm providing the shortcut for all the social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and for also the Parnika tutorials. Now let me end with a semicolon. Like this we can create an object. I can use the const keyword and the object name, and then I can provide the key value pairs in the object. Now if I want to display all the key value properties from an object, then I can use the for in loop. So I will use the for keyword, and then I will write where I in object name, which is ob1, then I will write console.log. So let me open the curly braces, and then I will write console.log, and then here I will write ob1 of I. Then if I save this program and execute it for you, now look at here, we got all the values such as YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Parnika tutorial. So like this we can use the for in loop to display all the values which are there in an object. Now if I want to display both the keys and the values in an object, then I can write like this console.log, and then I will use this one, and then I will write keys. I want to display the key, so keys, and then I will write the dollar symbol, and then I will write I, and I will write value is, and then I will write the dollar symbol, and then I will write ob1 of I, and let me save this one. So I'm displaying the key and also its value. Now let me save this program and let me execute it for you. Then in this case you will get the key is yt and value is YouTube, key is iz, value is Instagram, key is fb, value is Facebook, key is pt, and value is Parnika tutorials. Like this you will get all the key value pairs in an object using the for in loop. So I can say for of loop is used to iterate over the iterable objects like arrays, strings, maps, set, etc. Whereas for in loop is used to iterate through the keys of an object. In object, if you want to iterate, then we will use the for in loop. The for of loop cannot be used over an object. If you want to iterate over an object, then you cannot use the for of loop. For of loop will be useful to you to iterate over the arrays, set, map, strings, etc. However, we cannot use the for of loop to iterate over the object. However, we can use the for in loop to iterate over the iterable objects like arrays, strings, sets, maps, etc. But we should avoid that one. So for of loop for the array, set, maps, strings, etc. For in loop for the object. So I hope you have understood about the for of loop, for in loop, where you are supposed to use the for of loop and where you are supposed to use the for in loop. If you still have any doubts related to this concept, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.